Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Erica. I'm the author of the blog, The Simple Home Place, and I want to start sharing a little bit more real content with you. My life is very non-aesthetic. I live in a very small space. We live in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment with our 2 kids, and so I want to start sharing a little bit more about how I function in a small space. I know hopefully a lot of you can relate to this. Not everybody has this big luxurious house, and I just want to share some tips on how I have managed having a family in a small space. And the first topic I want to cover is our laundry routine. Laundry can get super overwhelming no matter what space you live in, but I found that it's really important to have a routine. It doesn't have to be super perfect or anything, but a system and a routine that keeps laundry off the floor. It keeps it from piling up, and I just want to share a couple of tips with you. So hopefully it'll help you, and if you are in a similar situation, it can make tackling laundry just a little bit easier. So first, let's talk about laundry collection. So depends on what your situation is again, but my daughters share a room, and then obviously my husband and I have a room, and then we have a bathroom. So what I've done to simplify this is we have one hamper in each space. So we have a hamper in the girls' room, a hamper in our room, and then we have a small hamper, actually 2 in the bathroom. So we've got one that has our clothes right before we're taking a shower. We can all just throw them in there. And then I have a separate one that has all of our towels. And so that's kind of the laundry collection spaces. I also have one on top of our washer, or our dryer, it doesn't matter, where I put all of our kitchen towels because our washer and dryer is off of our kitchen. So now that might be too much for some people. Depending on what your space looks like, you might want to have one on each level if you have more than one level. What I find is the easiest for me is I can visualize when the laundry needs to be done. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But we each have our own spaces where we can get the laundry off the floor and into the basket. We know that it's dirty, and then it's all collected and off the floor and in its own space. So that leads me to the next part, which is clothes that you maybe wear for just a little bit, or that can get another use out of them, like jeans, for instance, or dress pants can be worn a couple of times depending on, if you get sweaty or whatever. We also wear our pajamas twice. So our kids wear their pajamas twice, and then so do I. And so what I've got in each of our rooms is the wear again basket, is what we call them. And that's just, oh, I only wore this for a little bit. I'm gonna put it in that basket and I can rewear it at a different time. And that again keeps laundry off the floor, and it also cuts down on laundry because then I'm not washing all the clothes that my kids decided to, change out of. If they've got like a pretty dress and I don't feel like wearing this, then they can just put that in there and wear it at a different time. And so those are really the 2 main things that we focus on when it comes to the laundry collection. We've got our hampers, and then we've got our wear again baskets. So now moving on to the next topic. My next tip is to choose an approach that works for you. And what I mean by that is there are, of course, many different schedules and different ways that you can tackle your laundry. Some people will do an entire load start to finish every single day. And if you have a larger family, then that might work for you. And you do that first thing every single morning. You start a load, and by the end of the day, you have finished that load. And that means, folding it, putting it away, all of that. I don't have enough laundry every day to do that. And so what I do and what works for me is once one of our laundry baskets is full, that means that I have a full load. And I'm going to talk about in just a little bit how I actually wash my laundry as far as sorting and everything goes. But once I've got a full hamper, I know that I have a full load that can be done. And so there are a couple different ways that I do this, but I like to do one task at a time. It feels less overwhelming to me, and that's how I like to tackle. And it also depends on your personality and what feels overwhelming for you. but that's just what I do. So once I've got a full hamper, I will go ahead and put it in the washer. And what I like to do is actually do this at night. And so after supper is all done, everything is cleaned up, I will put a load in the washer. And that means either before I go to bed or right when I wake up in the morning, I can go ahead and throw that over into the dryer. And then I can go ahead and get that folded and put away that day. That seems a little bit less overwhelming to me than doing a whole load for some reason. That's just how my brain works. But I do like that your washing machine is working for you while you're sleeping. You don't have to do anything. And then it's ready for you in the morning to go ahead and put it in the dryer. Now, sometimes what I'll do is I will do 2 loads like that. So at night, I'll put in 1 load. In the morning, I'll go ahead and throw it in the dryer, put in another load. I'll take the load that is dry out, put it in our laundry basket, and then go ahead and finish that other load. So I have 2 loads, and I can either choose to tackle it on that day, meaning folding it and putting it away, or that is a task for another day. That way I feel like I've accomplished something. I can go ahead and cross it off my list, and then the next day I'll go ahead and fold 2 loads of laundry, and then you're good to go. Another quick thing I want to mention is actually putting clothes away and hanging them up. So as I mentioned, I have 2 little girls. They are 5 and 7, and their newest chore, or one of their newer chores, is to put their clothes away. They've been doing this probably for the last 6 months or so, maybe longer. And they can put them away however they want to in their drawers. I've got one that is a little bit more organized and my other daughter is not. That's okay. It is their own space and they are responsible for putting them away. That takes a little bit of pressure off of me. Eventually I'm going to teach them more how to fold. They know how to fold, little things. But I think that's going to be something for this summer that we're going to go over. So that'll be, extra off of my plate as well. I put my laundry away and my husband's. He works a lot and you can have your opinions on whether or not he should put his own laundry away. And he definitely helps whenever he can, but he works a lot. And so I'm already putting my clothes away. We share a dresser. I just put them away. It's not that big of a deal. And then I will hang all of our clothes and the girls' clothes. So I just wanted to mention that if you have kids, I think it's a great skill for them to learn. And like I said, I have a 5 and 7-year-old. They've been putting their own clothes away for a while. I think part of it is letting go of that perfectionism. I definitely have always struggled with that. So just letting go of the fact that it doesn't need to be perfect. It is their own space. Eventually they need to start figuring that out and figuring out, if they like things more organized or not. And so that's a great chore for them to do. So now that we've talked all about, the routine and everything, let's talk about some things that I don't do and how I've simplified my entire laundry experience down a little bit more. Okay, so we've talked about laundry collection and we've talked about a routine or a system on how to get your clothes washed and put away. But I want to talk about a couple of things that I don't do that have simplified my routine. I've done this for years and it helps me. It helps my brain. I don't know, maybe you're like me and you think this way, or maybe you get overwhelmed really easily. And so these types of things have helped me. So number 1, I don't sort my laundry. That might seem a little bit crazy, but I wash my whites and my colors together and I wash them on cold. And for me, that works great because really the only whites that we have are my husband's undershirts for work. But I've never had it where a color bleeds. Now, if I have a brand new red shirt or something like that, I might go ahead and leave the whites or the light colors out of that particular load. But I've never really had a problem with bleeding. So I only sort by towels and sheets and blankets, and then we have all of our clothes. And I don't separate my kids' clothes versus mine, except when we've got a full laundry basket. So like I said, we've got a hamper in their room. When that's full, I'll wash that, and that's all of their clothes. And then our laundry basket in my room, I will end up dumping the basket from bathroom. So it does have a few of my kids' clothes, but it's mostly my husband and I's clothes. But it really doesn't matter because it's pretty easy to sort that out. So that's number 1. I do not sort my laundry and I wash only on cold. And then of course, towels and things I'll wash on warm. So that's tip number 1 of something that I don't do and never had a problem with it. The next thing I don't do is I do not iron my clothes. And I don't know, do people still iron? I know my mom irons a lot of her clothes, and it also depends on, if you're a professional. I stay at home. My husband obviously works and he has to wear dress clothes, but we rarely have to iron them. If you get them out of the dryer quick enough, they're not wrinkled. So I rarely go ahead and iron things unless it's a very special occasion, which cuts down on a lot of time. I remember growing up and my mom would be at work and I'd be home during the summer. This was before I got like an actual job. And I remember calling her and asking if I could iron her clothes. I don't know. I was a weird kid, I guess. But we don't do that. That saves me a ton of time. The next thing I don't do is buy a ton of laundry products. So for a long time, I would buy, conventional laundry detergent, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you do, totally fine. But I started making my own, and I've experimented with all kinds of different recipes, and I've landed on one that I really like. It is liquid, and so I make my own laundry detergent. So that's one thing, but I don't buy anything else for my laundry except stain remover. I have tried natural stain removers, and maybe I just haven't tried the right ones, but I don't even know what it is. I get the Walmart brand. It works amazing, and I don't think I'm ever going to give that up. So that is the only product really that I buy. So I buy the supplies to make my laundry soap, and then just that. Sometimes I'll add in like borax or washing soda, baking soda, depends on what it is that needs to be done in that particular load. But I always have those on hand anyway. So it's not a big deal. I use it a lot in different cleaning products throughout my house. And then sometimes if I want a little bit of extra softening on the clothes, I'll throw in some vinegar. But that's it. And then I use dryer balls. I do not use dryer sheets. I have never enjoyed using them. I try not to use a lot of fragrance anywhere in my house really, unless it's something natural. And so I don't use that. I use dryer balls, and I have a whole video actually on how to make your own, but of course you can buy them from Amazon or virtually anywhere these days. So there's that. So I've simplified all of the products. I don't buy the scent beads, and like I said, I don't know. I'm getting old. Okay, I can't remember. What did I just say? Anyway, I don't buy a lot of the extra products, and I don't feel like I need to. I get stains out really easily of my kids' clothes. Everything is nice and clean, and so I don't worry about those extras too much. Okay, so those are just a few little tips that I have when it comes to, creating a system for your laundry and making it work for you instead of allowing it to pile up, and it gets really overwhelming at that point. So hopefully you can feel less overwhelmed if you implement a few of these strategies into your laundry routine. I want to keep talking about small space living and how I organize and how I keep the clutter at bay. So if you have a request, let me know down in the comments. Or if you want to see any other laundry type videos, I can do a more natural laundry routine and talk a little bit more about that if you're interested. So let me know down in the comments. But thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And I look forward to chatting with you a little bit more.